everybody, this is B back again. Sorry, that was really loud. I just jumped right into it. But we are back with LoveWood, my favorite game. Okay, we were here last. I definitely love this game. Like I said, this is one of my favorite visual novels by far so far. So we're going to continue where we left off. I kind of wish I broke them up into different playlists. But this started at the end of my Nord and Atlas. So it is what it is, I guess. We continue looking around the bottom floor, and we carefully collect things we consider worth saving. Hey, Moth, what did the last verse of the poem say again? Let's see here. Witness wealth and treasure, but do not linger and loaf. Rise above them and return, for the beauty is terror's cloak. I don't know about you, but I think we shouldn't stick around here for too long. I'm not quite done looking around yet. Where did the music go? Seriously, I'm getting a sense of stranger danger here, except that it's aimed towards this place, not towards a person. Strangeness? See, you get it. There it is. Just then, we hear a low rumbling noise, and the ground beneath our feet shakes. What the heavens was that? I don't know. Maybe an earthquake? We should get out quick. We dash back to where we came from, but before Moth can open the door again, I stop him. Moth, wait, look at this. I hold back one of the curtains, and there is mud already reaching halfway up the window. The house is sinking? The house is sinking. We stumble up the stairs to the second floor, hoping to find a way out. The house isn't simply drifting lower into the sludge. It feels as though the earth itself is actively trying to swallow it at a shocking speed. There's the window to the rooftop. Moth fumbles with the mechanism for a second. I don't know why I said merch. It's a little rusty, but a hearty smack from him cracks the window open. We're gonna let Moth go first. After you. I practically shove Moth through the window, then follow suit once he made it out. Just in time, it seems, as the house is about to disappear in a massive puddle of mud. Moth has stumbled onto the grass, apparently safe, but I get my feet stuck in the sludge. Ugh, damn it. B. Moth sloshes through the mud so close to me as he can without being sucked into, and reaches out to me. Grab on. I can't quite seem to reach him, until I suddenly feel myself getting pulled towards him. Moth's slender hand tightly clutches mine. He pulls me back, and we stumble onto the more solid part of the clearing. The last bits of the house disappear in the muddy pit with a squelching sound. I almost expect the ground to let out a burp, but instead there's nothing but dead silence. Moth and I only need to exchange a single look to agree that we should get away from this place before more potentially life-threatening stuff happens. Woo. That was absolutely nuts. Tell me about it. Are you doing okay? Are you hurt? I'm absolutely perfectly fine, love. Or at least I will be once my legs stop feeling as if they're made of goo. Terribly sorry that you had to get your clothes all muddy, but I hope you're unharmed too. Never been better. Woo. When you pulled me out of that pit, were you using your finder spell to tug me closer? Indeed I was. That was quick thinking. I didn't know it worked on people too. I wasn't sure either. Only used it on a very light things before. Not that I'm calling you bulky. You're just a tad heavier than a roll of yarn, you know? Yeah, I can imagine. Wouldn't it have worked if you had used it on my pants or something? And give you a wedgie in the middle of an already mortifying ordeal? Please, I have standards. Moth looks pretty drained from using his magic to such an extent. After a short break, we make our way back to the village. B. I'm aware that not everything went smooth as butter today, but I was still glad I was still glad to have had you by my side. I guess this is the kind of story I can tell my grandkids someday. It was really wild ride. Agreed. Oh, don't worry, I won't drag you on another adventure anytime soon. Unless I come across another mysterious poem. Alright, I still wonder who wrote it in the first place. Or in general. What was the deal with that place? Maybe some questions are better left unanswered. I'll see you soon, Bee. Get some rest for now. Alright, I will. Have a good night, Moth. I spent a bit more time at home changing out my... I cannot read today. Changing out of my dirty clothes and getting traces of mud cleaned out of them. After that, it's bedtime for me. I suppose I could be glad to have gone through this adventure alive. Whether I wanted to take such a risk again, I'm honestly not sure. It lived. Oh. Oh wow, this is gonna be short. We just started. It's the day of the midsummer celebration. The weather looks quite pleasant, but let's hope it stays this way until the evening when the party starts. Question is, do I ask someone out? With everything I experienced since I arrived, I already gotten to know some of the townspeople fairly well. I could connect to some of them more easily than others, too. I'm going to ask one of them out on a date. I'll have to decide now. Okay. We're going to try for Aleth, and then probably... I have addiction. You guys are going to hate me for this, but I'll probably go for Moth, too. Like, the creator said it was okay I could do an extra route, and they're going to be like, are you seriously going to do all the routes? But they're all so cute. I'm going to go for Aleth. I don't know if that was a good idea. I didn't remember if we saved enough. I've made up my mind. I'm going to ask Aleth if they'll go to the midsummer celebration with me. As one would expect, I can find them hanging out in front of their shop cart. They finished selling some grapes to a fairy who had duck feathers for a tail. The customer happily saunters off, and Aleth tips their hat as they see me approaching. How's it going? Pretty okay. Looking forward to this party this evening. Are you? Sorry. You might get turned down. I don't know. Aleth makes a bit of an awkward face but nods. I'm a little nervous about it myself, but I'm glad you're going there too. I'd like to ask something concerning the celebration. Aleth tilts their hand and motions with their hand as if to say, go on. Well, how about we go there together, as a date? No, that sounds awful. I need to go do a double take to register what they're really saying. You mean you'd really like to go? Aleth nods, a broad smile on their face. Why did you ask me of all people, though? The amount of lovable bachelors in this town is sparse. Because I think you're genuinely an interesting person, one that I wish to see more of in my life. I did not mean to quick save. Okay. Let's lower the music a little bit. There we go. Because yeah, we did that. Aleth blushes and fumbles for their chalkboard. I hope I can be what you want me to be. We are recording, right? Yep. You only ever need to be yourself, Aleth. That's enough. Are you aware that I'm not here in town most of the time? Of course, it's part of being a traveling merchant. I just want you to know what you're getting into if this turns into a bigger thing. I'm absolutely ready for that. Don't worry about it. Thanks, Bee. I was nervous about the party before, but you know, I'm really excited for it now. Aleth chuckles. Same here. Shall we meet in front of Oberon's residence at 6 p.m.? Aleth nods. It's a date. Okay, so since I'm going to do the other routes, I am going to break this off, I think. I think that's a smart idea from the other videos, maybe. and I'll do the next route, like I'll go all the way back and do a full run, and we'll get like Moth, and I might do Moth and Blossom in a playlist, like their routes, or Kayleen or something. I'll do like 2 routes per playlist. On my way back home, there's a spring in my step. I'll have a chance to spend more time with Aleth. I take my time preparing for the festivities. While I haven't brought an elaborate amount of fancy garments with me, I think I'll get by just fine with what I have. A graceful cape, a shirt, and a vest combo, and something outrageous like, I don't know, pants? Yes, I think that will serve me well. I also do some cleaning so the house isn't a mess when I get back. In the meantime, I realize how little I know about the customs for the midsummer celebration around here. Are there pieces of court etiquette I should probably pay attention to? I don't want to embarrass myself. Oh well, I'm sure if there's anything I need to worry about, Aleth will tell me. By the time evening comes around, I throw on my outfit and make extra sure that I'm not wearing anything inside out. Alright, look sharp. Time to do this. There's my boys! As I approach the residence, there's no sign of Aleth yet, but I can already see Nord and Atlas hurrying inside. Of course they'd go together. I don't need to wait for a long time until I hear a whistle behind me. Hey, you're looking fresh. Aw, Aleth. Aleth tips their hat as if to return the compliment. Ready to set this place on fire? Sure, unless you're being literal. Then again, there are worse date activities than committing strategic arson. Aleth holds the heavy doors open for me, and the 2 of us enter the throne room. I've been to this place before, but the way it looked then doesn't compare to the slightest in the current view. What was previously a dauntingly large echoing hall with muted lights is now a bright, inviting ballroom brimming with music and cheerful conversation. Wow, what do you think? I'll be honest, I didn't believe that this place could look so lively. Aleth nods, looking quite impressed themselves. They motion for me to follow them and take a look around the ballroom. We blend into the crowd. I don't know anyone around here, but it's an interesting mix of people nonetheless. It consists mostly of fairies, but I also spot some lycomorphs and lizard people in the ballroom. There are party-goers of all occupations, and while the nobles seem to prefer staying among their kind, everyone is mixing and getting along quite well. Meanwhile, servants move diligently through the hall, offering snacks and drinks on their trays. Lord Oberon and Lady Titania are busy greeting the high-status visitors. I see Oberon bow respectfully to what must be the leader of the neighboring Lycamore settlement, who returns the gestures. After this formal greeting, they pat each other's backs and loosen up noticeably, even exchanging some jokes. It's almost uncanny to see these two massy forces of nature drink a toast and laugh as if they're old friends who only could see each other once or twice a year. Heck, that's probably exactly what they are. It's pretty generous of the royals. There's such a big party every year, where everyone can just show up, regardless of invitations. Aleth does something between a nod and a head shake while scanning the downright wasteful buffet. I find it clever, from a strategic perspective. Even though Oberon and Titania do a lot for their people, they still live in a luxurious position. By sharing that wealth during an event like this, they're basically pacifying the commoners. Right, at the same time they got to show off to the leaders of the neighboring settlements. That's pretty smart. There's a pause from the court musicians, and the attention focuses onto the royal couple. Speaking of the nobles, is something happening over there? I'm not sure, but I think the dance is about to start. Interesting. Let's watch and see how it goes for now. Aleth nods, and we see Lord Oberon and Lady Titania bow to each other and initiate a well-practiced waltz. Shortly afterwards, as if on some solid cue that I didn't notice, the other noble couples follow suit. The onlooking party-goers occasionally react with cheers or applause when Oberon and Titania display a particularly elegant move. They've clearly done this many times. Eventually, commoners from the crown join in as well, and the center of the hall fills up with gracefully stepping couples. Do you like dancing? I'm kind of rusty when it comes to the ballroom dance, but I do enjoy it every once in a while. How about you? Aleth seems a bit surprised that I asked and casually set their hat straight. My brother taught me how to waltz, but I'm not a big fan. A bit too posh? They grinned confirmingly. If there's no risk of me accidentally kicking my partner's knee, what's the fun in that? Heh, I'm taking it you're more of a step dancer and a swing fan yourself. Not sure how to call it. I just like to flail my limbs around a lot. From what I've heard, the dance floor will be open to freeform dance later. Then we could wait, get some snacks, and enjoy the view. Until then. From our comfortable corner of the hall, we listen to the music and occasionally point out interesting little details. I spot Nord and Atlas in the crowd of dancers, twirling around and laughing whenever one steps on the other's foot. As more pairs join in, the dance turns into a game of avoiding collisions with other couples, which is hilarious. It almost feels as if we're invisible observers, taking in the sights without being directly involved. I'm surprised at all the beautiful and funny moments I notice when I allow myself to sit back and open my senses. With time, the atmosphere at the party clearly becomes more casual, and most of the nobles take a break for refreshments. When musicians begin playing more folky tunes, Aleth perks up. We don't need to exchange words. Every fiber of their existence is screaming, "This is my jam." Aleth puts aside their chalkboard and holds out an inviting hand to me, putting on the poshest tone they can muster. Ahem. May I have this dance? You certainly may. We find a clear spot on the dance floor and have at it. What Aleth described as a flailing limbs is actually graceful range of movements. They're bursting with life and joyful expression. I can see why they were excited for this. This is a playing field on which words don't matter as much as movements do. Right now, Aleth can actually say more than anybody else in the room. At the time, we take each other by the hand and spin around, then flow back into our own space. All the while, I can't help but feel mesmerized by their enthusiastic smile. Some of the other dancers and onlookers seem to agree, sending the occasional cheer and delighted clapping our way. By the time we practically tired ourselves out, the party has gotten a bit too noisy for us anyway. My guess is that some of the party goers have overindulged in the punch, and that's offered at the buffet. Want to take a little stroll outside? Good idea. We move outside the residence and follow the river. Aleth carefully cleans their sleigh in the clear water, and after a short walk we came across a campfire near the riverside. Nord sits on the log that surrounded it, waving us over. Hey, could you guys watch over the fire for a moment? Sure. Where are you going? Gotta check if Atlas got lost on his way to get some snacks. I can't believe I said my boy's name wrong. Nord dashes off into the direction of the residence, and we take a seat on the makeshift benches. Compared to the ruckus inside, the scenery is pleasantly quiet. The river peacefully gurgles on. The fire crackles and the air is still. Aleth warms their feet near the flame and hums a quiet tune, as if the melody from the ballroom is still echoing in their head. You know, I wasn't sure how to say it before, but I think now I understand why spending time with you is so much fun. They look towards me, listening intently. You have many interesting observations to share. When I'm with you, I feel as if I get a glimpse at the world from a different perspective, and it's a beautiful one. So thanks for that. Aleth smiles, and I think I can see a faint blush on their face. Hey, would you mind if I try something? Try what? They rummage around one of their many pockets until they pull out a small glass bottle filled with the clear, shimmery liquid. That's the truth potion you got from Kayleen. You want to drink it now? Aleth nods. Didn't you say you were going to save it for a special occasion? How is this not a special occasion? I can't argue with that. In that case, I'm excited to see if it'll work. Will you call the medics in case it backfires and knocks me out? I doubt that it will, but sure. That was probably just a joke, but then again, I can only hope that Kayleen did proper work when creating this potion. Aleth pops the cork off the bottle, then takes a deep breath and downs the entire content in one go. They made an odd face and coughed a little, like someone who just swallowed some unpleasantly hard liquor. Does it taste great? No, it really doesn't. Oh my gosh, it's actually working. Wow. Okay, I don't know how long this will last, so I have some things I want to say. Alright, I'm listening. That's a good starting point. Listening. Most people only listen because they're waiting to reply, you know? That's something you get used to when you work with people on a regular basis, and I had basically accepted it as the standard. But when I'm talking with you, it feels different, like you're actually listening to understand. Not just when you're with me either, but you do the same thing when you talk to Kayleen or anybody else. I noticed that. It's rare, and I think it's wonderful. The words are spilling out of Aleth as they beam, with the eagerness of someone who hasn't been able to speak freely like this for a long time. And after today, I can tell that it's not just some I cannot say it. I done read it, and now I can't say it. You keep up. This is really how you are. You're considerate. I know the word, but now I've read it, and I'm going to say it all wrong. You're considerate, kind, and smart, and you make me feel at home. I mean, you don't just make LoveWood feel like home for me. It feels as if you could be my home, if that makes sense. You have this way of making me feel safe, even when I'm as much out of death as during this fancy party, you know? There's a light tremor in Aleth's hands, which I hope comes from excitement, not the effects of the curse and the potion duking it out in their head. Maybe I had some bad luck when it comes to magic, but I must still be really darn lucky to have someone like you in my life. I feel like I've just been rambling this whole time without saying a lot. What I'm trying to say is thanks for being the way you are, Bea. Thanks for letting me take part in your life. And well, I hate you. Oh, has the effect worn off? Aleth nods awkwardly. Don't worry, I know what you were trying to say. They breathe a sigh of relief and lean against my shoulder. I can't help but being awestruck, though. I'm not sure if it's because of what they just told me, or because I've simply never heard Aleth talk for such a long time before. They only had one of those potions, and using it clearly took some energy out of them. They could have used it for any purpose, any occasion, but they chose to do it when they are with me. I get Aleth's little blackboard, but instead of passing it on to them, I slide it into my own lap. And I simply write, I love you too. Aleth chuckles and presses a kiss onto my cheek. We snuggle in front of the fire while millions of stars watch us from above. It's a warm and comfortable moment of affection. One that can't possibly be disturbed. Hey guys, we're back. Hello, Nord. Good evening, you two. Sheesh, I'd forgotten about Nord and Atlas. Are we interrupting something? Heh, only a little bit. This is your fire, though, so sit down, fellas. Come on. Maybe we can pacify you with stick bread and our other culinary delights. Ooh, did you get some bacon, too? Atlas shows us a bowl of campfire food he brought. Meat, vegetables, bread, though. He even acquired some marshmallows, though he insists on calling it pâté de guimauve instead. I'm pretty sure his pronunciation, mine as well, is off, but I humor him. We spend the rest of the night telling stories by the fire, roasting food and goofing around. I almost can't believe how at home I already feel here. It was only a week ago that I arrived in this town, unsure whether I would fit in. And now I have not only found new friends, but also a partner who will go through the thick and thin with me. This is a joyful night, and one that I hope is only the first of many to come. Ta-da! Ah, cute. Okay, we're going to have to cut this off a bit shorter because, like I said, I'm going to end the video here. Because I want to do the next group in another playlist. Because I don't want my playlist to keep going on and on and on and on with each route. I feel like you guys will get bored seeing the same thing over and over. Like, especially if it doesn't break them up, I should say. Like, I'm worried that it's not going to put them in order that I need them to. So, I'm going to put this in the last playlist that I had. And then I'm going to make another playlist. And I'll put in the description of which one's which. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.